and certainly part of the reason why BNK are here in the first place. They're going to take second pick.
So it's interesting, we often see second pick prioritized in the LCK later in the series, once a lot of those power picks have sort of been taken away. But going for it on the offset, not something we always see. Putting a lot of emphasis on counter pick. We'll see whether they look to use that top, whether they look to use that support. And we'll see what the strategy is, because typically second pick, you have a lot of onus on you to ban away a lot of the OPs. And then maybe one thing gets through that, you know, first pick gets, but maybe they just leave a lot open and they're like, well, you can only get one of them, we'll get two. So far though, Nico banned, Rumble banned, Janara banned. This is just trimming the OPs from both sides.
Pretty straightforward so far. We'll see if we can see Varus, Pantheon, Orianna, stuff like that. Duro's gonna get Bard banned against him.
Okay, Bard is a bit more... We see Bard banned a lot against, you know, it's been banned a ton against Carrier, against Andal, has been banned against Duro, but banning it from second pick does sort of limit what you can ban, because now there's still Varus, there's still, you know, Azir, Orianna, and there's still Ryze on the cards, and not that many bans left. Vi, Pantheon also available, so definitely a lot of stuff going to go through. Orianna going to get taken away. This is Gen G kind of just presenting, do you want to just trade Orianna, Azir, bans, and then, you know, they would be able to first pick the Ryze if they wanted.
Yeah, definitely an option. You can give Azir, you can grab Pantheon and Taliyah, maybe. Could be an option to deal with the Azir. A lot of discussion on this one, and they're just going to ban Gwen. So it's not Azir.
So now, Gen G in this position where, I mean, there's just a ton of stuff open. Are you set firmly on taking the Azir here in this situation? You know, there is Taliyah open, there is Ryze open, there is mid laners that you can sort of play. Are you going to put higher prior on a jungler, but there's still like Pantheon, Vi, Zin's out. There's just a lot of picks available. They go straight for the Varus. I think with the fact there's so many picks and those different roles available, they're not overly concerned. This does mean that BNK have the option to get a Azir for Vikla, which is a pick he's often, even last year, was banned away from him heavily. We'll see if they end up leaning towards that. For now, though, Pantheon for Raptor feels really good. It was banned away quite heavily against him in recent series. A pick he can really lead the charge on. And just honestly has so much early pressure, but still scales pretty well, has that global pressure too. And they will get that Azir for Vikla pretty quickly. We'll follow up there.
Yeah, I like getting Pantheon for Raptor. They said he was their best player, and they're going to put the best jungler on the patch directly into his hands. I think that's a great start for BNK.
Yeah, here, Gen G could just go, you know, Vi Taliyah. We often see our pros enjoying Taliyah into Azir specifically. Gives you a strong mid-jungle combo, which you kind of need in this situation. And it looks like that will be what they're going for, at least the Taliyah. I assume they'll follow up with a jungler here just to match. And I think Vi, Taliyah just super consistent in this situation. Question is, BNK Furex, do they want to match AD carry? Sivir, I think, is something we often see into the Varus. Able to obviously spell shield a lot of your damage, match your wave clear. The only problem is, into Vi, you are quite short ranged, and the spell shield, you know, it doesn't really do much against her, because on the way to you, she can kind of smite to proc it. And if you get caught by that ult, you're just dead. So they end up not looking towards the AD carry role, instead securing Ambessa for clear here, and now have a window to sort of trim some of the picks Keen could take into it, and limiting his options there. So a really strong topside, I feel like, for BNK Furex here. Gen G, a lot of single target lockdown with that composition. A lot of ability to burst one target, and immediately Rectum ban comes through. I think for Gen G, the Sivir ban does make sense. In my mind, is something you want to take away from.
Yeah, I mean, Diablo can play a whole host of different things. He's shown that he's not scared to go towards the Lucian as well. There are a lot of threats where if you are in Lucian range, it can be a little bit iffy. There's still Corki that's hanging about that you could consider.
Yeah, trimming anything safe maybe the Sivir ban doesn't need to come because you're like, we have tools to deal with it. It's just the lane. I feel like she has such a good time in lane. I think the Ezreal ban makes a lot of sense. Is it going to be the Sivir? Is it going to be the Corki? Not sure what else should really ban in this situation. They are just going to go for the Sivir.
Diablo could also play Jhin. They already have a lot of damage, and he kind of matches Varus decently well in terms of range in the lane, but
yeah, and this,
it's not a Diablo champion necessarily.
I mean, this Genji composition isn't that tanky either, so it would definitely work here. And you can operate just miles away. You have divers you can follow up on, so yeah, I think the Jhin could make sense. It's also able to sort of hold up against the Varus in lane. Running down the last second, and it is just going to be that Jhin coming through. So we're going to pick something that can just operate miles away from these threats that Genji has.
Yeah. And now they get support last pick, counter pick, after they see the entirety of Genji's composition.
Yeah, I think you could just slam and engage support. They're looking at the Rakan. I think that's fine, you know. I think I wouldn't feel too crazy differently if you just went Rakan or Rel, but Rakan obviously very quick to follow up, and also you have a bit of sustain in the lane, so if it is, if they pair the Jhin with something that has a decent amount of harass, you kind of just weather the storm, even though it doesn't feel too good. Top lane for Keen though, into the Ambessa is just going to be the Rek'Sai. Yeah, Genji composition feels quite early focused, you know, when I get that early momentum. A lot of playmaking tools, and I think the Poppy, a lot of ability to shut down what Genji have picked out. I was thinking, you know, when they ban the Sivir, is Poppy going to be concerned here? The fact that they lock in the Rakan Rek'Sai makes a concern. This is a pick that Kellen's had a ton of success on. You know, 3 of the picks on Genji's side get heavily shut down by this. And you already have plenty of engaged potential in this composition. You have Mbessa, you have Pantheon, you have the Jhin follow-up, you have Azir who can go in. You have ways to close the gap if you need to. But the Poppy just has so much control. So I think this is a pretty good draft for being KPRX. I think they got a lot of comfort for the likes of Raptor, Vic, Kellen. I know Jhin not necessarily a pick we associate with Diablo, but I think it fits the composition well.
Yeah. We see Jhin oftentimes picked into a lot of aggression, sometimes to just, as you mentioned, stay as far away as possible and let the other damage threats do their work, which they have a lot of. And yeah, definitely like this comp from the side of B&K. Seems like they came in with a pretty clear plan in terms of what they were going to prioritize in the draft and make sure they can get as much as possible. They see the entirety of the draft, and then they're able to pick the Poppy for the ultimate counter pick on R5, which is something I haven't said in a long time, but because they picked second pick and Genji picked blue, that's the way we've ended up here.
Yeah, I feel like they got the double whammy of picking the top laner, the 4 bans, banning away the stuff to deal with it, and getting that counter pick support. So getting a lot out of this second pick. I feel like being KPRX is just, can they execute when we get into game?
Yeah, that's really the only question. And looks like we are just about ready to hop onto the Rift here for game number 1. So I hope you guys are excited. But we have a pause. And can you guess the reason?
Okay. You know what?
Our players have decided they do not want to play the game.
At least we can say the bot lane has synergy. That's something we can definitely talk about here, you know. Moving together, support covering the AD carry, backing each other up on the roams.
Yeah, what was your comment last time around for Kellen?
I don't remember.
You know, they were very impressed on the Korean side by your ARAM Mayhem knowledge.
Oh, yeah. I'm a baby kitten, where is mama?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Diablo went to go to, obviously, as you guys can tell, toilet issue, went to resolve that, and Kellen was like, I'm a baby kitten, where's mama? And they told him, well, mama went to the bathroom, and Kellen's like, oh, okay. I guess I gotta follow. And he did.
Support's support, you know?
Yeah.
Have them covered. Yeah. Well, hopefully this gets resolved quickly, and we can get into game.
Yeah. You know, I also did have some Zero Coke before we went live. And,
I thought you were going to say you also went to the bathroom. I'm like, that's a normal thing, Brendan. People do that. That's a normal bodily function.
Yeah, but the thing is...
Thank you for sharing.
I went right before the broadcast, and I thought, you know, solved, but actually I kind of have to go as well.
Wait, you went...
But I'm not going to leave. I'm going to stay. We're not going to do a toilet pause for...
Run me through this. Sorry,
for Valdez.
I'm confused. So you went... So you have an obligation right now.
Yeah.
And before this obligation that you have to be here, you went to the back. So you went before.
I did, yeah.
Interesting. So your strategy was to go before you had to be here.
Yeah, right before.
So that you didn't need to go during. That's, I think we're on to something.
What I'm trying to say is I still have to go.
Oh.
Because I drank a lot of fluids
Why didn't you take this window? You just had a window and you missed it.
Well, because I have an obligation to stay here on the broadcast, whereas the players apparently do not. But they're back.
No, Brendan, I tend to yap a lot. I knew.
Really? I had no idea.
I don't know if they'd noticed. If you ran really fast, they would just think he's talking about Ziggs for a really long time at the moment.
Well, if only we had Ziggs, but at least we have some gameplay ready to go. Let's hop out of the Rift for game one. All right. Game number one, I think we're going to know very soon, especially with these drafts and the fact that BNK got a very solid, comfortable draft. We're going to know very soon in this best of 5 whether BNK are here to play or if Gen G are just going to 3-0 them. Because, you know, I don't think it's going to get much better than this. Like, yes, Gen G also got a pretty strong draft, but I think that BNK, this is about as good as it gets. You get, you know, right of first selection. You choose second pick. You get a lot of value out of it. You're starting off the series, whereas maybe, you know, Gen G might take you the lightest in game number 1. Again, this is all kind of conjecture in that front. But at the same time, I think this is their best opportunity to strike. And if they don't, I do worry for their chances of getting a game in this best of 5.
Well, at least if they lose this game, they'll have right of first selection again. So that's something.
True.
BNK FairX's bot lane play very aggressive there, using the heal for the movement speed so Kellen could slam Ruler into the terrain. And Ruler and Dura responded with a heal of their own. You can see already a lot of aggression coming out in this level 1. Not too much of a surprise, given how Diablo and Kellen have been playing their bot lane 2v2s, but immediately looking to challenge and find any advantage they can.
Yep, that's the way it goes. You can see Vikla playing very respectfully here, as that rock was very close to hitting him, but not quite. I'm definitely very curious about the Vikla Chopi matchup once again, because obviously last time during the group stage, we did have Vikla getting the solo kill. Also Pantheon on a 6-game winning streak, and 2 of those are Raptor. And one of them is Canyon. So you take it away from Canyon. It's, I said it before, I think it's the strongest jungler on the current patch.
Yeah.
And you put it in the hands of someone who already has 2 wins on it.
Yeah, I mean, Vi's good, right? And Vi is in that higher tier, but Pantheon, the global presence that you have at 6 is insane, but unlike a pick like Nocturne, who's kind of just waiting for 6, your level 3 is absurd. And then he's not one of those junglers where it's like, okay, you only offer something early. That's the thing that blows my mind with his pick. He just does so much damage even later in the game.
Yeah.
You know, you build Bruiser and it feels like you can still just one-shot swishies. The execute damage he has as well is kind of crazy. And the fact that you have your E, which just allows you to soak so much damage. I think the champion just has so much to offer, and Raptor has been great with it. So we'll see if you can find any angles to start things off early this game. Obviously, him and Kellen together can CC a target for a good amount of time. A lot of base damage between them.
Yeah. Just feels like Pantheon doesn't really have any weaknesses right now. Kind of reminds me of Azir on many patches. Although Azir nowadays is still very high prio, it still does feel like at least he's got some downsides. Especially if you get behind and you don't have a lot of engage in your composition. It's kind of up to you. and that can be detrimental, as Keen does take a lot of damage, but he's playing tank Rek'Sai.
Yeah, I made a mistake, so I saw that trade, and I was like, wow, that's a mean... And then I remembered it's a Rek'Sai, and damage doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So Keen will just burrow, and look at the left side of your screen, top left, and you can see his health bar is already just... Look at it again.
It's higher than Clear's already.
Yeah, this pick's also a bit ridiculous. Oh, Ghost comes in, and that's enough just to immediately force a flash from Vikla. He's not messing around, does not want to get solo killed. 4 minutes into game 1 of the series. We talked about if Chovy's in good form, it could be a major issue for any team who faces him. He is not relenting, and already starting to put the pressure on this early into the series.
Yeah, very nice to see. Chovy, it's personal this time. Keep in mind, I mentioned the solo kill from Vikla onto Chovy during that last best of 3. It's also the series where Canyon stole 2 objectives with his flag. I think that was game 2, I want to say. Not 100% sure, but BNK were actually winning, and they were on the objectives, and Canyon stole a dragon, and then later stole a Baron with his flag alone. I
think it was game 1. I think game 1 was the one where BNK Ferox were really competitive, and honestly could have won. And then game 2, they kind of just struggled. I don't 100% remember. Maybe you're right. I don't know. By the way, that was a close series, and I think a big reason why Gen.G didn't pick BNK Ferox to play, which, given how the bracket played out, makes sense. Right now, both junglers hovering around bot. See Kellen trying to find something there, but a little bit unsuccessful.
You can see that Canyon actually going to start up the dragon here on the minimap, and it's right as Raptor backed away. So Chovy also having Prio in mid means that probably just going to get this. You do see Raptor coming on down, but I think it's just a little bit too late for them to really contest. See some vision put down, but at the end of the day, the dragon goes to Gen.G, and BNK are just kind of left scratching their heads. Yeah,
they got to walk both of their laners in as well, so they get extra quest progress from that. Just assisting with the objective take. Didn't even have to commit much time. So Gen.G able to secure that one. Is an early Hex tech, which, means it's not going to be a Hex tech soul. Next one's an Ocean, though, so removing a strong soul and a weak soul from the pool. We'll see what it ends up being. For now, though, just kind of seeing little CS advantages open up, particularly though top lane. Keen a good amount ahead already. And I think Keen in the last series, uncharacteristically not playing so well. Did hear that he wasn't feeling so well, so that may have been a factor. Chovy was saying that he was trying to finish the series quickly to sort of give him some reprieve. Seems like, from what we've seen, even though it's early days, but seems to be feeling better in this lane at least.
Yeah, does feel like, I don't have the stats in front of me, but I feel like this is something that Keen has gone back to a decent amount. Some of our top laners like the top Rek'Sai, others, we don't see too much of it. Oftentimes seeing, the Rumble, the Kennen, the Ambessa, the Gwen, Aurora even. But Rek'Sai coming out here and there, and Keen has been enjoying it. So, especially into Ambessa, because Ambessa, goes in for these trades, and then Keen's like, yeah, cool story, Ambessa. I'm just going to heal all of that damage. So, can mitigate a lot of Ambessa's annoyingness. We'll see if Clear has any kill potential when he gets his Eclipse.
Oh, Canyon circumvents the ward that was spotted. You can see it was pinged out. Hit for the Scryer, so can Clear escape?
Clear has his flash, and he's just going to ult and get away. Very nicely handled. Waited for the Rek'Sai to get in front of him, and then was able to taxi, essentially. Yeah,
it was a nice buffer as well with the ult onto the Vi ult. The CC didn't actually connect there. And in the end, you trade flash for flash against Canyon. So getting away from that situation where Canyon took the time to skirt around the ward, where they both commit ults and you're trading flash for flash, you're pretty happy with that one. Well played by Clear.
Yeah, it definitely feels pretty good. You don't want to get behind in the lane where you're already feeling a little behind based on the CS number. And you can see that BNK looking to put some pressure on this red buff, but decent amount of vision, and the bottom lane is able to rotate over. And so think they're okay for now, although Raptor sticking around, and now we got a TP coming in. This Raptor just gonna poke Canyon a couple more times, but this is actually a Rakan TP, and eventually Duro just gonna get slammed into the wall. They're trying to burst him down, and the sweep comes in from Vikla. They get the kill on the Duro and onto Canyon, and it's on both of the carries as well. It's literally perfect for BNK.
Just so well played. BNK FairX had the setup, and Genji kind of disrespect them moving in there. Duro TP's in, and you can see Kellen just waiting. He knew exactly what the play was. Duro even popped ult immediately as he landed, but it just wasn't enough to negate the CC. They might be in trouble here.
Yeah, the knockup came in, and he's got to dodge the seismic shove, but they're not even going to use it. Just going to put a bunch of damage in. Keen, very low, but he does avoid that last turret shot. So Chovy at least able to make something happen on the top side of the map.
Yeah, it'll be him who picks up the kill, so he'll be enjoying the extra gold from that. A nice answer back on the top side, but still, BNK FairX pulling a little bit ahead. And it'll be Vikla who answers the plate that Chovy picked up mid as well when he was moving to the bot side for that previous play. See the replay here. So the TP's coming in, and they have vision of mid and top, so they know that it's Duro. And they just immediately stun him, even though he ults. Not enough to get the weight, and this fourth shot that comes in from Diablo to secure it is great. And then Canyon is just, you're playing Vi, you're stuck in the mixer against all these picks with so much CC, you can't get out. And here, this situation when Clear doesn't have any real tools to escape. Does nearly take out Keen with the help of the turret, but just not quite enough there, unfortunately. And now, Keen has his one-item spike with that Titanic Hydra, and Clear not quite able to finish off the Eclipse, unfortunately. Feeling pretty bad about that one, especially as it's such a big one-item spike for the Ambessa. Even didn't go for an Executioner's Call, and we often see into the Rek'Sai. We see our top laners finishing Executioners just to try and trim off some of the healing, but he's like, no, I need my one-item spike, I'm already behind, but still not able to finish it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
We'll see if he can get there. I like that Raptor.
Okay, has enough.
They invaded the red. They were able to get aggressive with this Pantheon, and he's able to get in there again, steal the Raptors away. He is Raptor, and he oftentimes does steal the Raptors, funnily enough. And he's going to do it again here.
Oh,
I
thought Duro nearly stole that.
It was very close. It was on 21, but Duro not able to Gleaming Quill it down. As this is going to be second Dragon here for Gen G. They also got all 3 Void Grubs, so even though the fight went BNK's way, objective wins going heavily towards Gen G, and it's a Cloud Soul.
Oh, Cloud Soul for this team is pretty crazy. Just being able to pick up the 2 dragons without any real contest coming out from BNK FairX. No setup, not really getting in position. They'll get a little bit of gold for Clear on the top side to make up in that matchup, but yeah, not doing the groundwork to set up. And now 2 dragons in pocket for Gen G. As you said, the Void Grubs as well. They've had the objective lockdown so far. And yeah, I mean, Rakan is crazy with a Cloud Soul. But just in general, the movement speed, Rek'Sai feels really good with it. I feel like this champion is often, gated by just being able to reach whoever you're chasing to get the knockup.
Yeah, I think Rek'Sai, who has more mobility than she already does, is just going to be a huge menace. And we'll see if they can pick up those dragons. BNK, there's still an opportunity for them with their slight gold lead and their ability to take these fights with the Pantheon to, try to get a gold lead, use that to get a bunch of Cloud Drakes, and then essentially say, okay, you got the Void Grubs, but whatever. We got a bunch of Cloud Drakes, and Cloud Soul also pretty good for them. Not amazing, but definitely very strong still, as we do have Vi up here in the top lane. They're just bullying Clear, who's going to try to taxi with the ult, but the chains come down, and he just disappears, pops like a balloon. It's a second kill here onto Clear, and they're going to do a bunch of damage to that turret as well.
Yep, going for the swap. Quest completed. Herald spawned in a couple of minutes, end up swapping that bot lane up to top and finding this play onto Clear. And now just able to pick up the turret as well with the help of those Void Grubs. Really nice setup. Baiting the ult from Clear with the Vial, and then Ruler just is there to clean up. And now that lead in the top lane is pretty massive. And honestly, I know they have decent damage from the Azir, but if Ambessa's behind and you're relying on a Jhin as well to kill a Rek'Sai, a fed Rek'Sai, it's going to be hard.
Yeah, definitely will. This is pretty straightforward, you know. He has his flash, but there's no way to get away from a Vi who presses R onto you, and a Rek'Sai who does the same thing. And a Varus who's right there and has supreme range, so he doesn't even bother to flash.
Yeah, I think as well, he went for the dash, and Rula kind of aimed the ult between where he was and where he was dashing, and the hitbox is big enough that he just made sure he was guaranteed to hit. So now a huge gold lead in the top side. And Keen, very strong. And I think that feels so bad for Clear, because you've gone this Eclipse, this item that syncs so well with Ambessa. You should be so strong, and you're behind. Compared to the Rek'Sai. And Rek'Sai, I feel like it kind of similar to how I've talked about Pantheon, is one of those picks where in my mind I'm like, this pick gets outscaled, this pick falls off later. But we've seen Rek'Sai be kind of being on a tear in the later stages of the game and just be a menace. You know, you get further in the game, your knockups have value in team fights, you're actually really hard to kill. Not nearly as useless as you would think on paper, because the Rek'Sai are old. You know, you think of it as like, okay, you have early jungle ganking pressure, and then you're a Rek'Sai, but she's actually quite hard to take down if you don't have the damage.
Yeah, I think especially because she doesn't seem to lose many lanes oftentimes. She just has so much sustain, she's able to farm up very easily, and you know, you can just soak so much damage, so you never really get pushed out of lane. You get ahead in levels, you get ahead in items, and then inevitably, you're going to have an impact in the later stages of the game if you're very far ahead. So it does feel like she's got a lot going for her nowadays, and Keen has absolutely identified that. And he's going to be very important in this game for the team. Rift Herald is going to go over to Genji as well. So
that's 4 in a row.
Have everything.
Yeah, Dragon in a minute, which I think BNK4X really need to make sure they contest and ideally secure. At some point, you need to get objectives. I mean, technically you don't. You could just get the Nexus, but it's...
Just kill enemy champions.
I don't think we've seen games where teams have won by doing that, you know? I haven't checked the stats, but I think most League of Legends games, you don't win by forgoing every neutral objective and just taking the Nexus.
Yeah.
Yeah, just had Kellen finish his role quest. That's now all of them done. And... do see this time BNK4X starting to set up for the Dragon. We see some vision, some wards in Genji's red side jungle. We also see the Scuttle Crab secured, so getting some setup there. Duro has finished his Mikhails already. So able to cleanse some CC. You know, the Pantheon stun or the wall slam from the Poppy.
Or the Jhin.
True.
Which can sometimes be very annoying, especially if you're trying to run away and you get rooted up and then the curtains get opened. Now BNK, they're going to start up this Dragon. They're certainly staking their claim on this objective. I just wonder what happens if we go 5v5, which it does look like inevitably we will if Clear goes down, but actually BNK just going to back away for now. We do have Clear backing off the wave, and of course this Rift Herald's coming in towards mid lane. As Diablo doesn't seem to care. Did he not notice? I'm not sure. Okay, very nice ult away, but he's still going to die. And now the Pantheon ult comes in as well as the TP. BNK really hard forcing this one. And it's not going to go their way. So they use the TP, and now they're down in 80 carry, so they can't even contest the Drake.
Yeah, that was such a weird play from Diablo. I don't know what was going through his head, because he saw the Herald coming with a Vi inside, and it just felt like it didn't register.
Yeah.
He just kind of stood there. And we all knew what was going to happen, right? You know?
All of us except Diablo.
We were all watching, we're like, Vi's coming. Guys, the wave is not that important. At least be near your tower. And he's like, no, I need to clear the wave.
He got the CS, though.
He did.
Kellen tried his best. He found Mama, and it didn't matter.
And then the TP comes in so deep. I'm like, well, you can't stay there to fight. That is such a deep TP, so immediately Clear has to disengage. And then I'm like, okay. You know, BNK4X, they did the setup. They had the vision there in time. They had to back away because of the Herald. But everything that came after was so confusing.
Yeah.
So, well, they found Duro.
Duro kind of taking a similar thought and saying, well, I have to clear this ward 100%. He's just going to get shot there as he dives over to Canyon. And,
yeah. I think he was trying to... He used his E-charge again because he was trying to dodge Raptor's spear, potentially, or avoid him. And then it looked like Diablo kind of predicted it with the fourth shot.
Yeah.
So, caught him there. Wall comes into zone, Helen and Raptor away.
It's a very strange last couple of minutes.
Yeah.
I don't really know what to make of it. Maybe our players are a little bit nervous.
The main takeaway we can have is that Gen.G have a goal lead and a significant objective lead right now. That wall slam very close to hitting but doesn't. But then Duro is like, no, I'm still killing the ward. In fairness to him, he didn't actually have vision. And sometimes supports just do this. You know, the enemy support jumps on you, you're like, I see what your plan is. You want me to think your whole team is backing you up. They were backing him up.
This time.
Yeah. But the thing is, we'll focus on that moment because Duro died, but I guarantee there'll be 3 or 4 other times in this game where that exact same thing happened and Kellen didn't have a team backing him up.
Yeah.
And so it's just a mind game. And Duro's like, this time I'm killing the control ward, you can't stop. And the team was there. So, you know, sometimes you learn the lesson the hard way.
And it's for Khan too, where you feel so safe, right? But I think especially into Poppy, sometimes you got to give the Poppy the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, and we have the Rocket Belt Azir coming out. I saw this last night in the LEC. I think it was Jojo who went it. I'm not sure where this originated. I know Chovy's been loving Rocket Belt on a lot of champions. But you know, if you're trying to farm TikTok clips, this is like, you know,
it's perfect. Yeah.
This is perfect. You think of the moves you can do with this. But right, you know, it's giving you a lot of stats that you like, right? The AP, the health, the ability haste. But that extra dash, we'll see what Vicla's going to be able to do with it. Can it allow him to get a divide a little bit deeper? Is it going to allow him to get out after he goes for a divide? Will Diablo get out?
Well, he's got his flash this time, and it just doesn't matter. He still dies. This is kind of like a repeat of what we saw last time, including the TPs coming in. This time it's Vikla, though, going to throw the Rakan in, and it kind of just gets Raptor killed as Clear's here, but the flash on in from Keen. They want to take out Vikla, who tries to utilize the walk strategy and just dies instead, and it's only Clear left alive as the knockback comes in, and Chovy is just not missing these. And that's just an ace from Gen.G.
Yeah,
like that.
They just dive in super clean. I think Diablo thinking maybe he should have bought Rocket Belt in this situation. You even see the seismic shove predicting the flash, but Diablo doesn't flash over the wall, gets knocked back, gets destroyed. Helen doesn't get the steadfast presence down in time, but Clear's there to kill Canyon. Raptor gets demolished, and then you think, okay, 2 for 2, not so bad. This Fed Rek'Sai slides in and just one-shots Vikla. So apparently even Rocket Belt's not enough to save you.
Yeah.
And then here, Chovy again with the seismic... Joseph V. Joseph V with the seismic shove.
We have Peter, and now we have Joseph as well.
Joseph V with the seismic shove does find Clear.
I think that might be the lid on this game, Hawks. Because
this game feels over. You know,
every objective has gone to Gen.G.
That's the thing. They have a huge gold lead, but they also already had all the objectives.
Yeah.
So,
and now it's 20 seconds to Cloud Drake, but you're 5,000, 6,000 gold behind.
They didn't win that fight because they had all the objectives, but because they won that fight and they have all the objectives, that's why they win the game. Oh.
All right, well, they're trying to get Joseph here. Let's see if they can actually get him to knock into the wall, and that will be the kill going over to Raptor as they take down Chovy down there in the bottom lane. So that's one way to open up an objective for you.
Yeah, Clear's like, I kind of want to be here, but I'm not sure about it. And he makes the right call to back off. And now they also... Oh, that's a lot of damage.
Gen.G are still very far ahead.
Clear is TPing in now. Raptor's a little low. Keen is scary. They are threatening the engage.
I don't know if they have enough damage to take out Keen as... the smite is early, and... Yeah, Raptors is going to take that one down. Got pretty close as we do have the engage coming in from B&K. And even down all of this gold with the member advantage, they will be looking for the win in this fight as Keen says, I'm immortal, right? And I think we're going to test that here as eventually he will be going down. That's another shutdown going to Raptor, who's now 2,000 gold ahead.
You know what it was, Brendan? I knew B&K Ferrex going to win this fight as soon as you said the game was done.
There's a little caster curse, you know. got to get them in early. Make this an interesting series.
Yeah, so they find this pick on a Joseph V, and then in the setup for this fight, it's a crazy Dragon Secure. Goes down to 1 HP, and Raptor gets it. And then here, they don't have the Talia peel. They're not really able to engage into this composition because of the peel, and it's BNK diving forwards with the Jhin. And you kind of seeing the value here. Keen tries to disrupt to the backline, but Kellen is kind of just sitting there saying, my champion stops your champion from doing what you want to do. And it's very correct, very powerful.
R5 Poppy.
Yeah.
Huge value so far.
And we went from a 5,500 gold lead to 1,000. So a big swing back, you can see on that gold graph, kind of crazy.
Denial of the Cloud Soul as well.
Yeah, that's the thing is that Gen.G have gotten all those objectives, but I mean, the 3 dragons don't really actually amount to much until you convert it to the soul. So BNK they were just waiting for Brendan to say, the game's over. And as soon as he said that, they were like, we're going to ruin this guy's whole day.
I mean, they have kind of made a career for themselves here on subverting expectations, right? And I think they've done a very good job of that so far in this LCK Cup. And, you know, we weren't sure 100% what to expect from BNK this year, but I think, you know, you keep the whole roster together. Everybody seems to be improving over time. You can only find success from that. Still, you know, it's not an undone deal. It doesn't mean that BNK are going to win this game or anything, but they've definitely put themselves back into a playable state.
Yeah, and we said we like that composition, right?
Yeah.
It is still obviously going to come down to execution, right? And they fell really far behind. That's when it felt like the game was in a bad spot. But, oh, speaking of being behind.
Pantheon, though, I don't know. He's got his shield up, and they don't have the damage with only Talia, but now eventually, when the Vi comes over, they will finally get the GA out of Raptor. As after the fact, though, they're able to take him down. So nicely done here from Gen.G. They do take out the Pantheon. Clears in mid lane, so it's all go buttons here for the side of BNK as the knockback comes in, and the chains find Diablo at max range, and that'll be the end of him, and maybe the end of this Baron as well.
The fact that Raptor survives for so long, buys so much time, kind of makes you think maybe BNK Fear actually turn this around, but they're just not in position to actually make something from it. And when Gen.G are the ones charging forward, selecting targets, taking them out, you see how much better the composition feels here. Chovy's setting a trap. And he's pinging out. He sees Raptor. He's like, guys, come, we can find this. Raptor loses a lot of his health in the offset. Gets flipped, gets charmed. Helen with a good ult keeps Ruler away. But unfortunately, you know, they don't have their top laner here. Diablo and Vikla joining late. Raptor's already dead. And then here, they make the play to commit even further. And they commit a lot of resources. Chovy flashes. Ruler also flashes. But they know if they get this kill, it's Baron. So they commit a lot of resources to this play. They end up securing the Baron. They have a gold lead again. And now they're trying to choke BNK Fear off the map and see if they can secure that Cloud Soul finally.
Well, that's flash down for Kellen, and he doesn't have Hex Flash. So yeah, just a fluke. Say Gen.G, they say, okay, we lost Chovy, we lost the dragon in the fight. That's fine. We're just going to kill you and make the game unwinnable for you now, after this fight. As they get the Baron, they have the Baron push into the Cloud Soul. As you see BNK trying to move over here, but it's respected from Gen.G.
It was nearly a really good angle. Again, Chovy and Ruler being both their flashes. You find a flank and get on top of these carries. That's what you want. I feel like you've seen for the fights that have gone well for these teams, the big gold swing back for BNK Fear that last fight. The team that's aggressing and charging forwards is tending to do better. The one who gets their setup, but they're not able to find the angle. Gen.G wards them away, backs off, and now both teams just posturing for this dragon in 10 seconds.
You can see Keen charging down the mid lane and just trying to make his presence felt. They want to try to challenge the Banana Brush.
Oh, they're going.
Okay, they're just going to pull the trigger here, looking for Ruler. It looks like he still doesn't have his flash. The flash on in the sun, and they get Ruler. The Varus is gone, but take a look at Diablo. He's able to flash over the wall. He used it against Chovy, kind of. As now Canyon's going deep just to take out Diablo, but they can't quite do it. The exhaust comes out, and he will be surviving for now. As Chovy trying to do damage on the right side, not doing so, but there's the knockup onto the Pantheon. A knockback from Chovy, but still Kellen lives, still Raptor lives, and eventually Keen will get the job done.
Oh, Vikla!
But Vikla going crazy mode, is going to take out Duro, and now Keen, he says, I am the true carry of this game, picks up the triple, and will get this Cloud Soul.
Well, I can confirm Keen is feeling much better right now. Ruler goes down, eventually Chovy goes down, but they still have another carry ready and available. Kellen has Smite, yes. Yeah. So Keen's like, I'm not going to finish this dragon. It's a little bit awkward. He needs someone to secure this for him. There's a Varus coming over. A Varus can do a pretty good job of either killing Kellen from a distance or of just securing the dragon.
This is such a Kellen moment.
Okay, yeah.
Like, this is something that would only happen to Kellen.
Yeah, okay, so Cloud Soul secured, which is a pretty big boon for Gen.G. And they get the fight win, but this was a crazy one. BFX make the right call. They see Ruler get slightly split off, and immediately like, we gotta kill him. No flash, he's the target. Raptor jumps in, and you see Duro tries to move and peel, but can't. And Gen.G are like, fine, 80 carry for 80 carry, we're taking out Diablo 2, but somehow Diablo survives for so long in this situation. It's a dragon! The dragon knocks him out of the Rakan knockup, and he gets to reposition for longer. Survives more time, but then this seismic shove from Chovy is massive in the pit. And you think the Gen.G might have it there, but Vikla goes huge as well. Takes out 2 more members. Unfortunately, though, this is that late game Rek'Sai. Somehow just...
Level 18.
Yeah, Keen just survives so long in these situations, heals up so much over the extended fight.
아, 뭐 안 될 것 같은데, 이제?
He's like, I don't think I can get this, guys. He was right, and he was grinning from ear to ear the entire time. So, Cloud Soul goes to Gen.G, and now we're going to have this Baron in a minute 40, minute 30 here. But it looks like Gen.G want to pull the trigger first, as they're looking for Raptor here, who does not have his flash, used it to take out Ruler. And now Duro's going to go pretty deep just to keep them occupied, while the GA is running out here. They take down Raptor, as now Kellen just going to throw up a fist, and he doesn't have his flash, so he's just dead. Remember, he used his flash kind of willy-nilly earlier on. So that's going to be the end of Kellen and Raptor. One good thing for BNK is that they can't run to Baron, but they'll look to push down mid instead.
Yeah, it's hard to clear these waves, so they still have the Vial, the Varusult available, and as a result, it's really hard to step up. They might even look for the end.
Trying to poke down Vikla here. Keen is going deep for this one as the sweep comes in, and the ult from Canyon, they're going so deep to take him out, and they will be able to do so, as they also get clear. Only Diablo lives just barely. At the end of the day, it is just him. Flash on him from Chovy just to deny the curtains, and Kellen does respawn just to witness the Nexus that will eventually fall if Gen.G do attack it, which it looks like they will do now. Gen.G, bit of a roller coaster ride in this first game, but they get right back on the horse.
They as was alluded to before the series, as a team, they can go toe-to-toe with Gen.G. It's just Gen.G are crisper, are cleaner, and aren't making as many mistakes. You see the sort of variance in the gold graph, how it happened over the course of the game.
그렇다면 공풀각 같은 거 볼게.
야, 아질한테 이 한번 달아갈게.
야, 아질한테 공부 생각할게. 나 안면서만 본다.
아질 잡았고.
안면서.
못 잡을 듯.
저게 안 죽어?
그게 너무 아쉽네.
네, 나도. 야, 살렸어, 사람. 형, 안 죽어? 오케이. 줄타기를 너무 못 탔다. 괜찮아, 나 전혀 못 탔어. 나는 억울한데?